The 1970s were a transformative time in America, with changes in culture, fashion, and food. Breakfast, once a simple affair, became a playground for creativity and convenience, often spurred on by aggressive marketing campaigns. However, many of the popular breakfast choices from this era came with hidden dangers that could have serious health implications. Today, we're going to dive deep into the hidden dangers of 12 popular 1970s breakfasts that you might remember fondly, but should definitely think twice about. Number 1. Tangy orange juice with added chemicals. Tang, the powdered orange-flavored drink mix that gained immense popularity in the 1970s, was often touted as a convenient and healthy alternative to fresh squeezed orange juice. However, the ingredients and health implications of Tang tell a different story. The drink was heavily laden with artificial ingredients, including high amounts of refined sugars such as sucrose and dextrose. These sugars, while adding sweetness, contributed significantly to the risk of developing metabolic disorders like obesity and type 2 diabetes. Additionally, Tang contained artificial flavorings, which were chemicals designed to mimic the taste of real orange juice without providing any of the natural benefits. One of the most concerning components of Tang was its use of artificial colorants, particularly yellow 5 and yellow 6. These dyes, derived from petroleum, have been scrutinized for their potential health impacts. Yellow 6, for instance, has been associated with hyperactivity in children and might cause allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. Studies have indicated that these colorants could have carcinogenic properties when consumed in large quantities over extended periods, raising concerns about their safety. Beyond the chemical additives, Tang lacked the essential vitamins and minerals found in real orange juice, such as vitamin C, folate, and potassium, which are crucial for maintaining a healthy immune system and proper cellular function. The lack of fiber in Tang, compared to whole fruit or fresh juice, meant that it did not provide the same satiety or digestive benefits, potentially contributing to overconsumption of calories. Tang also included preservatives like butylated hydroxyanisole, BHA, and butylated hydroxytoluene, BHT, which were added to extend shelf life. These preservatives have been linked to various health concerns, including potential endocrine disruption and effects on liver and kidney function. Moreover, Tang's acidic nature, mainly due to citric acid and other acidulants used to enhance flavor and shelf stability, posed a risk to dental health by contributing to enamel erosion when consumed frequently. Number 2. Breakfast cereals and synthetic vitamins. In the 1970s, breakfast cereals became a staple in many American households, heavily marketed as a convenient and nutritious start to the day. However, while cereals were often advertised as being fortified with essential vitamins and minerals, the reality was less beneficial. The fortification process used synthetic versions of vitamins, such as ascorbic acid for vitamin C or ferrous sulfate for iron. Unlike natural vitamins found in whole foods, synthetic vitamins in cereals were not bioavailable in the same way, meaning the body could not absorb and utilize them as efficiently. This was particularly problematic with certain forms of iron and calcium that were poorly absorbed when consumed together, leading to potential deficiencies, despite a fortified label. Moreover, the addition of synthetic nutrients did not compensate for the high levels of sugar found in most breakfast cereals. Brands like Frosted Flakes and Honey Smacks contained up to 50% sugar by weight, far exceeding today's recommended daily intake for children. The high sugar content contributed to a spike in blood glucose levels, leading to energy crashes and promoting insulin resistance over time, a precursor to type 2 diabetes. This combination of synthetic nutrients and excessive sugar essentially negated any health benefits that fortification might have offered, contributing instead to a rise in childhood obesity and dental problems, as the sugars provided a breeding ground for bacteria leading to tooth decay. Additionally, many cereals contained artificial colors and flavors to make them more appealing to children, which have since been scrutinized for their potential links to behavioral issues and allergies. Despite being marketed as a healthy breakfast option, The inclusion of these additives raised concerns about long-term health impacts, such as hyperactivity and allergic reactions. The marketing tactics of the time also misled consumers about the nutritional value of these products, creating a false sense of security regarding their health benefits. Number 3, canned meats and sodium nitrite risks. In the 1970s, canned meats like Spam and corned beef were staple breakfast items due to their convenience and long shelf life. These processed meats were often preserved using sodium nitrite, a chemical that inhibits the growth of bacteria and maintains the appealing pink color of the meat. However, sodium nitrite's interaction with amino acids during cooking or in the stomach's acidic environment can lead to the formation of nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are potent carcinogens that have been linked to an increased risk of several cancers, including stomach, esophagus, and colorectal cancers. The risk is particularly pronounced when these meats are consumed regularly or cooked at high temperatures such as frying or grilling, which further promotes nitrosamine formation. Aside from cancer risks, the consumption of canned meats posed other significant health concerns due to their high sodium content. Many of these products contained up to 800 milligrams of sodium per serving, nearly 1/3 of the recommended daily intake. This high sodium level can lead to hypertension, high blood pressure, a major risk factor for cardiovascular diseases such as stroke and heart attack. The frequent consumption of sodium-rich foods can also contribute to kidney damage over time, as the kidneys work harder to excrete excess salt, potentially leading to kidney stones or chronic kidney disease. Furthermore, the fat content in canned meats is typically high, with a significant portion being saturated fat. Saturated fats are known to raise low-density lipoprotein, LDL cholesterol levels, commonly referred to as bad cholesterol, which can clog arteries and increase the risk of heart disease and stroke. Additionally, these products often contain added preservatives and flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate, MSG, which can cause adverse reactions in sensitive individuals, including headaches, nausea, and chest pain. The popularity of these canned meats in the 1970s, combined with a lack of widespread understanding of their health risks, meant that many adults unknowingly consumed potentially harmful substances on a regular basis. This highlights the importance of understanding food additives and their long-term impacts on health, especially when it comes to processed foods that remain popular today. Number 4, frozen breakfast entrees and chemical additives. Frozen breakfast entrees, such as toaster pastries, waffles, and breakfast sandwiches, were designed for convenience, but often came with a host of chemical additives aimed at improving flavor, texture, and shelf stability. Among these, preservatives like butylated hydroxyanisole, BHA, and butylated hydroxytoluene, BHT, were commonly used to prevent oils in the food from becoming rancid. Although BHA and BHT effectively extended the shelf life of these products, they have been the subject of debate concerning their safety. Some animal studies have suggested that BHA and BHT could be carcinogenic, potentially causing cancer when consumed in large amounts over extended periods. This raised significant health concerns given the widespread consumption of these foods by both children and adults. Additionally, frozen breakfast items were often laden with artificial flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate, MSG, and artificial colors, which not only contributed to the appeal and taste, but also posed risks of adverse reactions in sensitive individuals. For instance, MSG has been associated with symptoms such as headaches, sweating, and chest pain in some people, particularly when consumed in large quantities. Moreover, the use of hydrogenated oils in these products meant a high content of trans fats, which were known to elevate LDL, bad cholesterol, while reducing HDL, good cholesterol levels, significantly increasing the risk of cardiovascular diseases. The texture of frozen breakfast items was frequently enhanced with emulsifiers like monoamine and diglycerides. These compounds help blend ingredients that typically do not mix well, such as oil and water, giving products a uniform texture. However, some studies have suggested that emulsifiers could impact gut health by disrupting the gut microbiota and increasing the risk of inflammatory bowel diseases. Furthermore, frozen breakfast foods often contained high levels of sodium and added sugars to boost flavor, contributing to a higher risk of hypertension, obesity, and metabolic syndrome, particularly when consumed frequently. Number 5. Sugar-sweetened coffee creamers and trans fats. Sugar-sweetened coffee creamers, particularly popular in the 1970s, were formulated to mimic the taste and texture of cream without the use of dairy. Non-dairy creamers like Coffee Mate were primarily composed of hydrogenated oils to provide a creamy texture. These oils contain trans fats, which are artificially created fats that significantly increase the risk of cardiovascular diseases by raising levels of low-density lipoprotein, LDL cholesterol, and lowering high-density lipoprotein, HDL cholesterol. Over time, high consumption of trans fats can lead to the development of atherosclerosis, where arteries become clogged with fatty deposits, increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. In addition to hydrogenated oils, these creamers were often laden with corn syrup solids or other sugar derivatives to enhance sweetness, contributing to excessive sugar intake. This high sugar content not only contributed to weight gain and obesity, but also promoted insulin resistance, a key factor in the development of type 2 diabetes. Moreover, the repeated consumption of sugar-laden coffee creamers could lead to metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Non-dairy creamers also contain several additives, including sodium caseinate, a milk derivative that acts as a protein stabilizer. For those with lactose intolerance or milk allergies, this could pose a hidden health risk. Additionally, to prevent caking and maintain a powdery consistency, creamers used anti-caking agents like sodium aluminosilicate. While effective, this chemical has been linked to kidney problems in those with pre-existing conditions, as it can accumulate and cause damage over time. Artificial flavorings, such as vanillin and other synthetic compounds, were used to mimic natural flavors. These artificial flavors, while enhancing the taste, could lead to allergic reactions or sensitivities in some individuals. The combination of these ingredients created a product that was far from its intended purpose of providing a healthier alternative to dairy, and instead, it introduced a range of health risks that were not immediately apparent to consumers at the time. Number 6, powdered eggs and lack of nutritional value. Powdered eggs gained popularity in the 1970s for their extended shelf life and convenience, especially among families looking to reduce food waste and simplify meal preparation. Despite their practicality, powdered eggs lost a significant amount of their nutritional value during the drying and processing stages. The dehydration process used to create powdered eggs often involved high heat, which led to the degradation of heat-sensitive nutrients, such as vitamins A, D, and E, as well as essential fatty acids. This process also resulted in the loss of the egg's natural flavor and texture, making the reconstituted product less appealing and nutritionally inferior compared to fresh eggs. Another concern with powdered eggs was the frequent inclusion of anti-caking agents like sodium silicoaluminate and calcium silicate, which were added to prevent the powder from clumping. While effective in maintaining the product's consistency, these additives could cause gastrointestinal discomfort and potential long-term health risks when consumed in large amounts. Additionally, powdered eggs were often treated with preservatives such as sodium benzoate to prolong their shelf life, which further increased the sodium content of the product. High sodium intake has been associated with elevated blood pressure and increased risk of cardiovascular diseases, making powdered eggs a less healthy option when consumed regularly. Moreover, powdered eggs lack the beneficial compounds found in fresh eggs, such as choline, which is crucial for brain health, and lutein, an antioxidant important for eye health. The absence of these nutrients reduced the overall health benefits that eggs could provide, particularly for developing children and older adults who benefit from these nutrients. Powdered eggs also tended to have a higher oxidized cholesterol content, a result of the drying process. Oxidized cholesterol has been linked to the development of atherosclerosis, a condition characterized by the hardening and narrowing of the arteries, which can lead to heart disease and stroke. Number 7. Artificial sweeteners and weight gain myths. In the 1970s, artificial sweeteners like saccharin and aspartame became popular alternatives to sugar, particularly for those looking to manage their weight. Despite being marketed as calorie-free options that wouldn't contribute to weight gain, these sweeteners have been shown to produce counterintuitive effects. Research indicates that consuming artificial sweeteners may disrupt the body's natural ability to regulate calorie intake, leading to increased hunger and cravings for sweet or high-calorie foods. This effect is partly due to how artificial sweeteners interact with the brain's reward centers. When sweetness is detected without the expected caloric intake, it may trigger an increased desire for more food to satisfy the body's energy expectations. Additionally, artificial sweeteners have been found to alter gut microbiota, the community of microorganisms living in our intestines, which plays a critical role in digestion and metabolism. Changes in the composition of gut bacteria due to artificial sweeteners can lead to glucose intolerance, a precursor to metabolic disorders like type 2 diabetes. Furthermore, some studies suggest that long-term consumption of these sweeteners might impair insulin sensitivity, potentially leading to an increased risk of metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions that increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. The chemical structure of sweeteners, such as aspartame, has also raised concerns. Aspartame, which is broken down into phenylalanine, aspartic acid, and methanol in the body, has been scrutinized for its potential neurological effects. In high amounts, phenylalanine can interfere with the production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that regulates mood and appetite, potentially leading to increased food intake. Moreover, some individuals might experience headaches or other neurological symptoms, which can indirectly affect their eating behavior. Number 8. Prepackaged cinnamon rolls and overconsumption of sugar. Prepackaged cinnamon rolls, while convenient, were packed with high levels of sugar and unhealthy fats, making them a significant contributor to the overconsumption of calories. Each roll often contained multiple servings of sugar, far exceeding the recommended daily intake, especially when combined with other sugary foods consumed throughout the day. This high sugar content led to rapid spikes in blood sugar levels, which could cause a subsequent crash, leading to increased hunger and overeating. Additionally, the sugars in these cinnamon rolls were often in the form of high fructose corn syrup, which has been linked to increased fat accumulation in the liver and visceral fat around the organs, both risk factors for metabolic syndrome. The excessive use of saturated fats in prepackaged cinnamon rolls, typically from hydrogenated oils, further exacerbated health risks by raising LDL cholesterol levels and contributing to the buildup of arterial plaque, increasing the risk of cardiovascular diseases. These rolls were also high in calories, and their low fiber content meant that they did not provide sustained energy or promote a feeling of fullness, prompting individuals to consume more food throughout the day. The lack of fiber not only reduced satiety but also negatively affected digestive health, slowing down intestinal transit and potentially leading to constipation and other gastrointestinal issues. Moreover, prepackaged cinnamon rolls often contained preservatives and artificial ingredients to extend shelf life, which could impact health in subtle ways. Additives like potassium sorbate and sodium benzoate, while effective at preventing mold and bacteria growth, have been associated with allergic reactions and other sensitivities in some individuals. Over time, the habitual consumption of such processed foods with their high sugar and fat content contributed significantly to the rising prevalence of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease seen in later decades. Number 9. Pudding and gelatin breakfasts. High in phosphates, instant puddings and gelatin-based breakfasts, which surged in popularity during the 1970s, often contained high levels of added phosphates used as preservatives to enhance texture and prolong shelf life. These phosphates, commonly listed as disodium phosphate, trisodium phosphate, and calcium phosphate, serve multiple functions such as stabilizing, emulsifying, and preventing clumping. However, the high phosphate content in these products poses significant health risks, particularly for individuals with kidney problems. Phosphates can accumulate in the bloodstream when the kidneys cannot filter them effectively, leading to a condition known as hyperphosphatemia. This condition increases the risk of cardiovascular disease and can cause serious damage to bones and soft tissues. Moreover, the chronic consumption of high phosphate foods can interfere with the body's calcium absorption, as excess phosphate can bind to calcium and form insoluble complexes. This reduces the availability of calcium in the body, potentially weakening bones and increasing the risk of osteoporosis over time, especially in adults and older individuals who already have lower bone density. A high phosphate diet has also been associated with promoting vascular calcification, where calcium builds up in the blood vessels, leading to arterial stiffness and an increased risk of heart disease and hypertension. Another concern with phosphate additives is their impact on endocrine function. Some studies suggest that high levels of dietary phosphates may disrupt hormonal balances, potentially influencing the parathyroid hormone, PTH levels, which play a crucial role in calcium metabolism and bone health. Elevated PTH levels due to high phosphate intake can lead to secondary hyperparathyroidism, a condition that further depletes calcium from the bones, exacerbating the risk of fractures and osteoporosis. Number 10. Processed cheese in breakfast, sandwiches, and saturated fat. Processed cheese, commonly found in breakfast sandwiches during the 1970s, was engineered to be more convenient and cost-effective than natural cheese. Unlike traditional cheese, processed cheese products were made by blending cheese with various additives, including emulsifiers like sodium phosphate, sodium citrate, and potassium phosphate. These emulsifiers altered the cheese's fat and protein structure, enabling it to melt uniformly without separating. While this characteristic made processed cheese ideal for sandwiches, it significantly increased the product's sodium content, contributing to elevated blood pressure and associated cardiovascular risks. Furthermore, processed cheeses were often fortified with preservatives such as sorbic acid to extend shelf life, which allowed them to remain on store shelves much longer than natural cheeses. However, these preservatives, combined with a high salt content, could contribute to dehydration and imbalances in electrolyte levels, further impacting cardiovascular health. The saturated fats in processed cheese also posed serious health risks. These fats are known to raise levels of low-density lipoprotein, LDL cholesterol, often called bad cholesterol, which can accumulate in the arteries, leading to atherosclerosis, a condition characterized by the hardening and narrowing of the arteries. This buildup increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes, particularly when consumed regularly as part of a diet high in processed foods and low in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. In addition to unhealthy fats, processed cheeses sometimes contained partially hydrogenated oils, a source of trans fats. Trans fats further exacerbate cardiovascular risks by increasing LDL cholesterol and reducing high-density lipoprotein, HDL cholesterol, which helps remove excess cholesterol from the bloodstream. Regular consumption of processed cheese also meant exposure to food colorings and artificial flavors that could trigger allergic reactions and other sensitivities in certain individuals, making these breakfast options less ideal than they initially appeared. Number 11. Packaged fruit juices with excessive fructose. Packaged fruit juices like High C and Sunny Delight were heavily marketed in the 1970s as healthy alternatives to sodas, targeting health-conscious parents seeking nutritious options for their children. Despite their fruity image, these juices were often packed with high levels of fructose, a simple sugar that, when consumed in excess, can have serious health implications. Fructose is metabolized differently from other sugars, primarily in the liver, where excessive intake can lead to fat accumulation. This condition, known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, has been increasingly linked to the consumption of high fructose products and poses a risk for developing liver inflammation and fibrosis. Additionally, high fructose consumption can disrupt normal metabolic processes, leading to insulin resistance. Insulin resistance occurs when cells in the body become less responsive to insulin, the hormone responsible for regulating blood sugar levels. Over time, this can lead to elevated blood glucose levels and increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Packaged fruit juices also contribute to increased triglyceride levels in the bloodstream. Elevated triglycerides are a risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, as they can lead to the hardening and narrowing of the arteries, known as atherosclerosis. Moreover, unlike whole fruits, packaged juices lack dietary fiber, which is crucial for maintaining stable blood sugar levels and promoting satiety. Fiber slows down the absorption of sugars into the bloodstream, preventing spikes in blood glucose levels and reducing the risk of metabolic disorders. The absence of fiber in these juices means that the body absorbs fructose rapidly, exacerbating its negative effects. The lack of fiber also means that these drinks do not provide the same feeling of fullness as whole fruits, often leading to overconsumption and increased caloric intake without the accompanying nutritional benefits. Number 12. Fried breakfast foods and acrylamide formation. Fried breakfast foods like hash browns and fried eggs were staples of 1970s morning meals. But the cooking methods used for these dishes introduced several health risks. Frying starchy foods such as potatoes at high temperatures causes a chemical reaction known as the Maillard reaction, which creates acrylamide, a compound that has been identified as a potential human carcinogen. Acrylamide forms when the amino acid asparagine reacts with sugars at high temperatures, particularly during frying or baking. This compound has been shown to increase the risk of several types of cancer in animal studies. And while direct evidence in humans is still developing, the potential risk is significant enough to warrant caution. The concern with acrylamide is not just about cancer risk. Long-term exposure to acrylamide through regular consumption of fried foods may also affect the nervous system. Some studies suggest that acrylamide can lead to neurotoxicity, where nerve cells are damaged, potentially leading to neurological conditions over time. Individuals with existing health conditions or genetic predispositions, such as a family history of cancer, are at an even greater risk when consuming these foods regularly. In addition to acrylamide formation, fried breakfast foods were often prepared using oils high in trans fats during the 1970s. Trans fats, which are created through the hydrogenation of vegetable oils, were commonly used in commercial kitchens because they were inexpensive and increased the shelf life of oils. However, trans fats are known to increase LDL, bad cholesterol levels, and decrease HDL, good cholesterol, contributing to a greater risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. The combination of acrylamide formation and high trans fat content in fried breakfast foods made them a particularly unhealthy choice, compounding the risks associated with their regular consumption.